Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. Imagination is more important than knowledge. The important thing is not to stop questioning. A person who never made a mistake never tried anything new. Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. It is not that I'm so smart, but I stay with the questions much longer. Anyone who stops learning is old, whether at 20 or 80. The only source of knowledge is experience. Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. Logic will get you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere. Look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Two things are infinite: the universe and human stupidity. And I'm not sure about the universe. The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. Everything should be made as simple as possible, but no simpler. I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious. The most beautiful experience we can have is the mysterious. A man should look for what is, and not for what he thinks should be. The value of a man resides in what he gives, and not in what he is capable of receiving. The difference between genius and stupidity is that genius has its limits. Great ideas often receive violent opposition from mediocre minds. I never think of the future. It comes soon enough. What is right is not always popular, and what is popular is not always right. I am enough of an artist to draw freely upon my imagination. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. A question that sometimes drives me hazy: am I or are the others crazy? You have to learn the rules of the game, and then you have to play better than anyone else. There are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. The most incomprehensible thing about the world is that it is comprehensible. If you want your children to be intelligent, read them fairy tales. If you want them to be more intelligent, read them more fairy tales. Time is an illusion. The only reason for time is so that everything doesn't happen at once. What we know is a drop, what we don't know is an ocean. If the facts don't fit the theory, change the facts. Everything that is really great and inspiring is created by the individual who can labor in freedom. The moon does not simply reflect light, it creates its own. I believe in intuitions and inspirations. I sometimes feel that I am right. I do not know that I am. Imagination is the highest form of research. The best way to predict your future is to create it. I am not a genius. I am just a good student of nature. What you know is less important than the capacity to know. We live in a society that honors the individual, but the individual is constantly crushed. All religions, arts, and sciences are branches of the same tree. The most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. Life is a preparation for the future, and the best preparation for the future is to live as if there were none. The distinction between the past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. A human being is part of a whole, called by us the universe. Try to become not a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value. A person who never made a mistake, never tried anything new. You cannot simultaneously prevent and prepare for war. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be changed from one form to another. All that is valuable in human society depends upon the opportunity for development accorded the individual. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. Everything that can be counted does not necessarily count. Everything that counts cannot necessarily be counted. Do not worry about your difficulties in mathematics. I can assure you mine are still greater. I never made one of my discoveries through the process of rational thinking. A man's ethical behavior should be based effectually on sympathy, education, and social ties. When you are courting a nice girl, an hour seems like a second. When you sit on a red-hot cinder, a second seems like an hour. That's relativity. The most difficult thing is to try to get the conclusion from the premises. If you want to be a real genius, live simply and have a calm mind. It is the supreme art of the teacher to awaken joy in creative expression and knowledge. The human mind is not capable of seeing the true nature of things. It is bound by perception. To punish me for my contempt of authority, fate made me an authority myself. When you look at a flower, it's not just a flower, it's a whole universe. The greatest scientists are artists as well. Gravitation is not responsible for people falling in love. Nothing happens until something moves. Whoever is careless with the truth in small matters cannot be trusted with important matters. The secret to creativity is knowing how to hide your sources. Science is a wonderful thing if one does not have to earn one's living at it. The hardest thing in the world to understand is the income tax. God does not play dice with the universe. I don't believe in that "it can't be done" thinking. That kind of thinking is too limiting. The more I learn, the more I realize how much I don't know. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. The measure of intelligence is the ability to change. I am not a teacher, but an awakener. All that is valuable in human society depends upon the opportunity for development accorded the individual. Common sense is the collection of prejudices acquired by age 18. If you are out to describe the truth, leave elegance to the tailor. We can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. Life is not worth living if it is not lived for others. We are all different, and it is those differences that make us stronger. Science is the search for truth, and when the truth is found, it sets you free. The greatest discovery of any generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitude. Truth is what stands the test of experience. It is a miracle that curiosity survives formal education. A question that sometimes drives me hazy: am I or are the others crazy? The true value of a man is determined by how he treats others. It is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. An empty stomach is not a good political advisor. The only real valuable thing is intuition. The most important thing is to never stop questioning. Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. If you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it yourself. Not everything that counts can be counted, and not everything that can be counted counts. Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment. The value of a man lies in what he gives, and not in what he is capable of receiving. Once we accept our limits, we go beyond them. The measure of intelligence is the ability to change. My passionate belief in the possibility of progress lies at the very heart of my optimism. Imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions. The process of scientific discovery is, in effect, a continual flight from wonder. The mind that opens to a new idea never returns to its original size. Gravitation cannot be held responsible for people falling in love. It is not enough to teach students to read. We should teach them to question what they read. Without deep reflection, one knows from daily life that one exists for other people. There is no logical way to the discovery of elemental laws. There is only the way of intuition, which is helped by a feeling for the order lying behind the appearance. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind. We still do not know 1,000th of 1% of what nature has revealed to us. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Anyone who stops learning is old, whether at 20 or 80. Everything must be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. All that is valuable in human society depends upon the opportunity for development accorded the individual. A man should look for what is, and not for what he thinks should be. I believe that the most important thing is to never stop asking questions. The goal of true education is to teach a person to think for himself. The significant problem we face cannot be solved at the same level of thinking we were at when we created them. The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled. Life is a preparation for the future, and the best preparation for the future is to live as if there were none. Do not worry about your difficulties in mathematics. I can assure you mine are still greater. The most important thing is to not stop questioning. It is not the answer that enlightens, but the question. Imagination is the greatest weapon in the world. I am convinced that he who can lead a life without an abundance of happiness is a man who lives more in his mind. The universe is under no obligation to make sense to you. What is right is not always popular, and what is popular is not always right. Science can flourish only in an atmosphere of free speech. Truth is what stands the test of experience. The whole of science is nothing more than a refinement of everyday thinking. The future belongs to those who prepare for it today. Life is a journey to be experienced, not a problem to be solved. Anyone who stops learning is old, whether at 20 or 80. Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. There is nothing more practical than a good theory. He who can no longer pause to wonder and stand wrapped in awe is as good as dead. There are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. A question that sometimes drives me hazy. Am I or are the others crazy? If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things. The value of a man lies in what he gives, and not in what he is capable of receiving. A man of genius makes no mistakes. His errors are volitional and are the portals of discovery. The secret to creativity is knowing how to hide your sources. We are all different, and it is those differences that make us stronger.